Hi there, I'm Cher Johnston. Welcome to my happy place. I just realized I stitched that on. Remember this? This is the pocket altar that I started. I've been working on it a little bit, and I have a couple things to share with you on it. So it's going to have these pockets. Um, like this. And the E goes at the bottom. So I didn't finish this, but I wanted to show you again how I do this stitch and how I end it and begin it. This is a Palestrina knot. And if you're new here, I do a lot of embroidery. I do slow stitch. Mostly I do a lot of embroidery. Sharon Boggon did a recent video where she used freezer paper. If you're here in the States, we can get freezer paper at the grocery store. It's a common thing. She took a piece of freezer paper and cut a circle, and then out of the freezer paper and ironed it down to a piece of fabric, and then sewed around the circle and pulled it in and ironed it flat to have a circle that she could applique down. And I thought that is a brilliant idea. And then I thought, what about, I wanted to make a circle opening. Okay. So I cut a circle out of my freezer paper and ironed it here. And then I stitched around the outside edge. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, and I don't need this. I have 2 layers of fabric here. And I'm going to cut the inside. And I want to leave, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. Did I mention I sewed that? I did a running stitch, back stitch, like I did 1 stitch forward. I mean 1 stitch back and then 2 stitches forward all the way around. Just because I'm too lazy to get out my sewing machine. Now I'm going to cut some, I guess they need to go like this. Little, I don't know, divots. There's a word for that, for these. There is a sewing term for this. But dang if I can remember. Might not need this many. Might be better to have too many than too few. I'm thinking about a new project that Roxy Creations by Sarah. She did this quick snippets, and she did a book, and it was really cute. It was a really good idea. And I thought, I want to do that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and when I used to sew clothes, like I made clothes for myself, I made buttonholes using a technique sort of similar to this one. So, and I've been thinking about this, putting this hole in this fabric, and I was kind of thinking that I had to maybe glue it to something or some, I don't know. But now I think I'm just going to leave that paper inside. And I'm going to link to Sharon Boggon's video. And I want you to go watch her. They're doing this thing that they did last year. I don't remember what it's called. But there was a bunch of them who did like a week-long, I forget what it's called. I did it last year, and it was fun. It was really a lot of fun. Okay, what I need now is to just get my iron, and I'll iron that down. Ho ho, that's gonna be really nice. And then I can cut the paper, and then we'll have our pocket. And I think I have some clear something to go in that pocket. I also did some, I don't know if I shared this. I think I made a video where I made these and then I threw it away because, you know, I don't know. Some of these I'm going to use, some I'm not going to use. Like this one I'm probably not going to use. This one I'm not going to use. But the ones that say, like these two, this one for sure, I'll put in one of the pockets. I made them faith, hope, and family to go into the pockets. And there's a spot on the back. They can make notes or write on the back. And I thought about writing in some scriptures, but I don't know what their favorite scriptures are. I mean, I have my own, but all right. So this is the Palestrina knot. And when you end, you go down to the back, and then I just wove that in the back there. I'm going to come up from the back where I would normally, I'll have to show you in a minute. You know what? See, I hit a corner when I ended off. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to use this stitch to make my knot. So I'm going up and then I'm going to pull this down and it makes a little bit of a Y. You'll be able to see it better on the next stitch. I'm going to go in there and around and make a little knot. That's a Palestrina knot. So it goes like this. You go down. I have a line there. I'm going to go down on one side of the line, come up on the other side, taken, what is that, an eighth of an inch, and pull through. Now I take my little stitch, use the eye of the needle to go under that stitch, and then I'm going to pull it down this way. See the Y makes like a little, looks like a V this time. I go underneath there, wrap the thread around the back. I want to kind of hold that in place there. And then when you pull through, you get this knot. Now, if I was running out of thread, I would go down to the back here and end my thread off like I did there. And then I would thread my needle with new thread and come up there. And then just start again, make my knot, come up this way, pull this way to make a little V, and then go up on that side of the V, pull through to make a knot. And I try to space them evenly. See, I did that with no dot grid. Kind of proud of myself. I don't know how well I'll do on camera. It's always a little harder on camera. I'm going to pull that this way. Go up through the bottom of that Y, loop the thread, Okay, now to end this thread, I'm just going to take it down to the back, and then I'm just going to kind of thread through these stitches on the back. Okay, so I finished this up. The next thing I need to do, I need to take these to the sewing machine. No, I mean to the iron. I marked here 3 inches, but this is not 3 inches anymore. See? It's a little too small. So what I need to do is iron this down because that needs to get sewn down. That's going to be the top of the pocket. And I think when I sew down the edges, I think I'm just going to sew them raw edges together. Like I'll cut down this line. Anyway, I need to iron stuff first. That's the next thing to do. I'll do that and be back. So I realized that I need to back up for just a minute. Because if you didn't see the earlier show, then you wouldn't know what I'm doing. I have this, this is 3 inches wide. It's all 3 inches. And then this piece is 3, 6, 9 inches wide. This piece is 12 inches wide. And I sewed this piece on top of that one. And I did a bunch of just stitching. I did this on camera in one of my episodes. And I'm going to stitch a little bit while I talk. What this is going to be, my grandkids' other grandma lives in Bakersfield. We went to visit for Christmas in January. They do Christmas January, the end of January. Okay, just a second. I'm doing a stem stitch here in this little thing. I did one here. I may have done that off camera in some turquoise thread, and I just want this pretty. This is my Dazzle thread from Sue Spargo. Anyway, so we went to visit my grandkids' other grandma and her sister, and she had hanging on the wall this. And I was just starting to do my other the pocket treasure that I was making. I had just started it, and I saw that on her wall, and I went, oh, you guys, you need a pocket altar. And it has to say God and love, because I thought that was just so cool. So the other thing that occurred to me is that I could put a photo of the grandkids. These are my grandkids with their dad and their big sister. So that is going to go right here. And I may, now that I'm getting down to it, I might just glue that down. I don't know. I haven't decided. But I did stitch on 2 of these pockets, and I'm going to show you in a minute how I did that. And I want to show you also, I did little thing for the closure, and I have a button that I think I'm going to use, and I have a little charm that is going to go in there. Anyways, so, but when I started looking at putting on the rest of the pockets on the inside, I realized that I had not finished um, the decorative stitching that I wanted to do on the outside. It's mostly filled in, but I did want to do this stem stitch, and see these little things? I want to do a couple of um, detached chain stitches. So, oh, and this here, it's a little shiny bling that I found sitting on my desk. Trying to clean my desk, and things pop up, and so sometimes I just take those things that pop up and put it in something. Okay, there's one. And then let's do one here. And let's do one here. I don't want a lot of those. Then I'm going to show you. Okay, I think that's enough. But I want to show you how I stitched on the pockets. So I took them to the ironing board and I ironed the top down. Where did I put them? Oh, right here. Let's do the E together because that'll be easy. I just ironed down the top. I'm not going to stitch that down because I think it's going to stay, because it's folded pretty nicely. I do have to, this can be gotten rid of really easily, that just goes away with water. So I'm going to stitch this one down here. Also, I think one of the things, oh, you know what else I forgot to say? I saw this originally on Roxy Creations. She did one that was really cool. I'll link her. And then Pam from Pandora's Junk Journals has done a couple. I'm going to link hers below too, because just amazing. And Rachel shared an Instagram, somebody on Instagram who does these, and I'll share that link as well because that was pretty cool. But one thing that you have to be careful of, which I wasn't thinking of, is that this is going to all fold up like this, like that. And then this is going to fold like this and like that. Now, this pocket, she's not going to be able to put anything in it. Or, I mean, she can put something in it, but not a big, like I made a bunch of these to put in the pockets. They're not going to fit because it has to it has to fold up. So I'm also, the other thing is, see, I made this I think this is 2.5 inches. Yeah, see, I made it 2.5 inches, thinking, 1/4 inch seams. I think I'm going to have to cut it down a little bit. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to be really cool. But you have to keep that in mind if you're going to make one, that you have to leave a little extra room. Oh, the other thing that happened was that I measured, these were 3 inches. This was 3 by 9. And after you finish all the stitching and stuff, it's now 8.5. It's like, oh, it's almost 3 inches. But here, this is only 8.5 inches. And this is this way. It's only about 11.5 inches. So just keep that in mind, that when you do your the cantha stitching, it shrinks up just a little bit. Doesn't matter how hard you try to pull the stitches so that they don't bunch it all up, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. Okay, now I'll talk to you about this thing as well. This is made from Pellon. I'll put a link in the description. It's this stuff that you buy that you can use to make fabric things, like fabric boxes. If you want to make a nice fabric box, you can put this in it and you can stitch through it. It's not easy to stitch through, but it does stay nice. And anyways, I cut out a half circle, and these are a half centimeter. These are 1/4 inch. So what I do with this is I just had the E. Oh, fell on top of me. All right, let me make sure that this is going to fit there, and that this is going to fit here. How cool is that? It's all going to fit really nicely. Then let's get a pin. Pin this down. Okay, I'm going to start to sew this direction because I'm right-handed. I'm going to go from left to right. I'm going to do a blanket stitch. Okay. So I'm going to take my knot. I don't want that little tail. I'll take my knot. I'm going to bury it here. I'm going to go in here. Is that about right? Maybe a little bit further over. And I'm going to bury that knot between those pieces of fabric. Then I'm going to take my little thingy here, and I'm going to hold this while I do this. Now, I don't have anything to protect my hand from the back. I'm going to start with that stitch, just one up. You could start with a detached chain stitch, but so I'm poking through to the other side, and then I'm going to wrap the thread. Okay. Now, I don't think I have to do this all on camera because you get the idea. But you do have to be careful when you poke through not to stab yourself. So go carefully. When you poke through like that, just be really careful. And if you forget to wrap the thread, you just put your needle through that loop. Okay? And that's what it looks like in the back. Now when I did this seam, I went through to the back and then back up. It's really hard to bend it and to scoop the stitch. And you can see on this side, because of all the little stitches, you can't really tell if it's even or uneven. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm going to finish that off camera and come back. Okay, I thought I'd come back and show you how I handle the corners. Sometimes I just go straight there. Sometimes I go to the corner like this. And then go over here. And I think I kind of mixed it up a little bit and did a little bit of both. Yeah, I did. Anyway, the other thing that I wanted to show you, I'll come back when I reach the end of the thread and show you how I end off. I just wanted to say one more thing before I end this off. If you're new to slow stitching, you certainly don't have to try to make sure that your stitches are all neat and tidy like mine are. A lot of people just stitch and they don't, it doesn't matter that much, especially if you're just doing it for fun. It should be fun. It should be really fun. Okay, I'm going to end off now, and this one got a little long, and I don't care. I'm not that persnickety. Okay, what I'm going to do when I end off, you have to make sure that you have enough length, enough left on the needle to be able to make a French knot. I'm going to go, let's go twice around the needle like I'm making a French knot. And then I'm going to go back into the fabric between those layers of fabric. I'm going to travel back and see it shows there a little bit. Doesn't really matter if it shows, but you're just trying to bury the thread there. I'm going to pull this tight so that it makes a nice knot and then pull through. And then you can kind of tug that just a little bit, cut it off, and pull this back out, and that thread disappears. So now you don't see it. You see a little bit right there. It's not that big a deal. Okay. So I'm going to finish that. I'm going to finish all the pockets. So all pockets, lots of pockets. I'm going to finish all the pockets and then figure out what to do about this center thing. I have a different picture for the other, the aunt who has her first grandbaby. And I have that picture as well. I may put that on this one because this photo is a little bit big for this one. And the other one I think I can make smaller. Because I am going to make a second one. And I will probably do this again and show on camera. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay. Isn't she just the cutest little baby? I think that's going to just get glued down there. And this one I think will work. So then this, I took these and I made them a little bit smaller so that fits in there. So they say hope, faith, and family. And then all I need to do, and then I checked it to make sure that when this folds up with those things in there, these, she won't be able to put stiff things in there. I could, she could put some small pictures or something in there. But isn't that cute? Now, I have this thing to make a, a closure, and I forgot to sew it in before, I forgot to sew it down there before I sewed the pocket on. I'll have to just make it pretty. So this button is going to go there. I think. Yeah, I need to like do some kind of a shank of some kind. I want to show you how I made this. And I'm going to show you, just in case you haven't seen my other videos. I still have to finish this one, but this is my first little pocket treasure. There's a little book on this side that comes out, and a little building, a little fairy house. There's a little fairy. And then this has pockets. Well, that might not be a pocket. This is going to be a pocket for some little treasures that I have. This one can fold up this way. Wait, what did I decide? I decided this is going to fold in, and that will fold up, and then that and that. And then it has this on the back. And I have this little birdie closure. Okay. Maybe I should do something like that with this one. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I did. Wait, I should figure out my closure first. Okay. So there's that one. And I'm going to finish this today. I swear I will. Then I have, so let's just put this away for a minute. And this is the other one, because there's two sisters, right? Here's the other one. This is the outside. And I started with the running stitch. It's a little running stitch there. So this I have to finish all the running stitches. And these, I have not decided if those are going to go on here or what. This is the one that gets this picture. And I have this that I made for that. That fits better. I don't know if I'm going to do pockets on this one. Or, I mean, I don't think I'm going to do the this thing on this one. Yeah, I'm not feeling it for her. I'm feeling something else for her. Something artsy fartsy. So I'm going to hold on this one because I need to do this. I need to do something like this for this one. And I may do several like that for that one. Okay, but that's my video for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.